Hey, college is boring. What's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to do an album review on the latest Weezer album, Van Weezer. Obviously, a tribute to the late Van Halen, one of the musical legends of all times. But yeah, anyways, Weezer, alt rock band, they're back with Van Weezer. And judging by this shit ass album cover, you know that they're going for this 80s power pop thing with a lot of electric guitars, soaring solos, catchy hooks, chugging riffs, maybe. And as expected, it's actually pretty underwhelming. So, Weezer has had a long history. Of course, they started off with Blue Album and Pinkerton, both very critically acclaimed and successful, especially for Blue Album. And of course, aside from Blue Album, we have a wide array of colored albums that are also self-titled, like Red Album, Green Album. In 2016, they released White Album, which is actually really good. And it continued to go downhill with Pacific Daydream, Teal Album, which is a cover album, Black Album. And earlier this year, they released OK Human, which is surprisingly good. Again, one of the best albums that came out from them for a very long time, and it's a really stripped back orchestral baroque pop kind of album, and there is a kind of humility and sort of a genuinity, a kind of authenticity to OK Human that's just really intimate and heartwarming. And in contrast with that, they released Van Weezer, and it's actually, again, I don't know why, but King Giz is such a versatile band. Every time I talk about music, it has to somehow remind me of King Giz, but I think in the year 2019 they released Fishing for Fishies, and then they had to contrast that with Infest the Rat's Nest. So they had to release one really soft and nice and friendly album, and another really fiery and violent and just burning, just raging album. And Weezer is almost kind of doing that, except in Weezer style, where both albums are also really tame, but it actually really works out for OK Human, and not much for Van Weezer. No. To be honest, even though Weezer is going for this 80s power pop thing, at the core of their music, at the core of this album, it's still very much a Weezer album with very Weezer-ish songwriting, very Weezer-ish instrumentals, and Weezer-ish production. It's not that 80s, to be honest. But you know what? That's fine. Let's take a look at the music first. Take a listen. The album opener, Hero, has these really compressed guitars and bass, and production-wise, it's just really not that great, even though lyrically it's a pretty fun one. I mean, it's of course about the lone wolf heroism of the 80s, and it has that bright power pop flavor to it that's really promising, but still, production-wise, not really all that great. Second track is All the Good Ones, which has these simple toned down verses with a rough bass underneath, and then the chorus soars really high. It's really catchy, it's really bright, and definitely one of the better tracks on the album. And then we have The End of the Game, which is the lead single for the album, and also my favorite track off of the entire album. It is a really triumphant jam. It's hooky, it's really catchy. Rivers Cuomo gives a not so bad performance, and overall it's a damn good song. And same goes for the next track, I Need Some of That, which is a really faithful hard rock song with a very, very grandiose chorus with layered vocals, soaring guitars. It is a total blast. But from this point on, the album kind of goes downhill. We have the beginning of the end, which has a quiet opening, and then it gets louder and louder and louder, and at some point it reaches this Queen-esque solo. But that being said, the songwriting is still not all that solid. In fact, it's a little bit forgettable. The track Blue Dream is really head-scratching because they basically used the riff of the Ozzy Osbourne track Crazy Train and sort of recreated that riff note for note. And they made a terrible rendition with that riff. with the very dragged, sloppy vocals. It's just like, why are you ruining old songs? Then we have the track One More Hit, which I have to admit, the song is really catchy, and I like that Weezer is exploring more themes like, drug abuse, One More Hit. But we have the lyrics with the chorus and the hook being Pump It Up to Me, Please Daddy. And then we have the track Sheila Can Do It, where at this point Weezer doesn't even try. They've just given up, man. They just gave up. At this point, instead of making power pop or hard rock or anything in between, they're just making like British prog pop, because this song sounds like one of those early 70s prog rock pop songs. And the vocals on this track, oh, what the heck? What the heck is wrong with the vocals? It's so monotone, it's so robotic, it's so stiff and so rigid, and it sort of does that for the entire duration of the track, and it's just really annoying. Oh my goodness. The track She Needs Me has these very cutesy lyrics and some hard rock riffs, and I really like that combo. It's a nice combo. But the chorus of this track is just really lackluster. And the album ends off with Precious Metal Girl, which, again, they gave up. They just gave up. They just ended the album off with an acoustic cut, and while, sure, it's not power pop, I actually kind of like it. It's this tongue-in-cheek track that's very sweet, very cutesy, and it's also kind of sad because it's like a very desperate dude, just yearning for a metal girlfriend or a goth girlfriend. And there's something kind of sad but also cutesy about it that I actually kind of appreciate. But that's as far as the album goes. Overall, it's still a really lackluster album. It's still very forgettable, not really all that great. And favorite track here is The End of the Game. Least favorite is Sheila Can Do It, and Blue Dream. I'm giving Weezer's Van Weezer a 5 out of 10. So if you listen to the latest Weezer album from 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I will review Ice Age later.